So what do you do if you want an RV, but you don't have enough money, you can't afford to have a car and an RV at the same time? What's the solution? I'm going to tell you right now. Hey there, welcome back. Dr. Dave, the RV Dummy. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for being with me. By the way, I want to ask you right off the bat, if you don't mind, give me a little like, because I think you're going to love this video, and it really does help the channel when you do that. And if you're not a subscriber yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe. I'm here at the RV Dummy headquarters in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm going to be answering a question from a viewer. Right now, Dan Fields wrote in, and his question is, I can't afford a decent RV and my passenger vehicle at the same time. One of the reasons for choosing a Class B is that it will allow me to sell my car, which, by the way, he says still owned by the bank. Ooh, that's kind of a no-no on this channel. We don't really like when banks own cars or RVs. We don't like that. We like it when you pay cash for these things. But he still wants to have daily transportation. Is my passenger car easier to drive? Of course it is. Does it get better gas mileage? Yes, it does. But I bet if I calculate the amount per mile with 2 car ownership, while the more expensive car sits in the driveway, the Class B is actually cheaper to drive or not significantly more expensive. What should I do? Well, Dean, thank you. Sorry about that. First of all, thank you so much for being a viewer, a subscriber, and for writing in. It's a great question because I've done videos in the past saying that I don't really believe that a Class B. Now remember, I'm a great fan of Class B RVs. We have a Class B. We've got a 2006 Pleasureway. Absolutely love it. Pleasureway XLTS. We love it. But I did a video whether I think it should be like your primary mode of transportation, and my conclusion was it's really not the best. It's really better to have a car for everyday transportation. However, in Dean's case, he poses a great question there. If you don't have the money for both, then is it better to have a Class B RV and use that as your also as your primary mode of transportation? And I'm going to give a conditional yes on that question. I'm going to say yes. If you really want to have an RV, and remember, even a Class B, it's small. It's like a van. It's like a large van, but it's got generally a kitchen, a bathroom, a bed, a closet, a microwave, a stove, a refrigerator. So it is like a little house on wheels, although it's nothing like those big monstrosity RVs that you see driving down the road. You cannot use those as your primary mode of transportation. I mean, could you imagine driving one of those large Class C's to commute it back and forth to work, or one of those Class A's? You can't do, no, that wouldn't work. That would not, you just can't do that. But a Class B, yes, you can fit it into most parking lots in the shopping centers when you're going to get groceries, when you're running errands. It fits almost anywhere. You can use it as a primary vehicle. I don't recommend it if you can afford to have a car also, but if it comes down between one or the other and you're really into RV and you want an RV, Class B would be your solution. Just keep in mind that the gas mileage is not going to be nearly as good as a car, but again, that's probably not going to make a significant difference. And Dean's point was well taken. It's less expensive to have one vehicle if it's going to be a Class B. That's less expensive than having 2 vehicles and having one of them sitting in the driveway and you're paying insurance and you're filling up the gas tank all the time. So it is less expensive. But keep in mind though, whenever you drive your Class B, it's not going to be the same as zipping around the neighborhood or going down the highway in a regular car or a regular SUV. It's a little bit more cumbersome to drive, although not difficult, but it's a little bit more difficult. You have to be very careful where you go into, where you park, if you're going to be able to get out easier. You're going to need very good rear cameras and good mirrors, and make sure you can get in and out of places. And also remember that when you're driving your Class B as everyday transportation, you are potentially going on rough roads, and there's a lot of bouncing up and down and jostling, and you've got, you've got a house on wheels, so you're going to be, there's plumbing, there's the refrigerator, there's electricity, there's all kind of things that are going to be always bouncing around a lot. And if you're hitting potholes and stuff like that, stuff could go wrong, which will just need to be fixed. Things need to be tightened up. Things are going to be maybe, cabinets might come open, unless they're secured properly. You just got to be careful and make sure everything is tied down, secured really well. But it is going to be like driving a little tiny house on the road wherever you go. However, yes, if it comes down to it, go for it, Dean. Get that Class B, get what you can afford, pay cash, and if you need to, use that as your primary mode of transportation. I think you're really going to love it. I think you really will. And thanks so much for writing in and asking that question. Again, it's an excellent one, and I hope this answer doesn't only help you, but I hope it helps a lot of other people out there. During these crazy times during the pandemic, so many people are buying Class Bs, probably for that reason. You pull into a shopping center, and if you don't feel comfortable using a public bathroom, you use the toilet in your rig. It's great. It's like a little house that you're taking everywhere. It's safe. You can keep it clean. It's wonderful. Yoko and I love ours, and Dean, I know you're going to love yours. Thanks again. And from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate every single one of you watching my videos on RVing and also on life. We do a lot of different things here. Even though I am the RV dummy, I talk about a lot of different things. So again, thanks for listening. Hope you have a great, great day, and I'll see you on the next video.